Yeah, so I'll talk about that. Just real quickly, what a just transition is. So we understand that we have to transition from the extractive economy to one that respects the cycle of life. But a just transition addresses how we get there. It makes sure that no one gets left behind, that workers that used to work in the extraction industry now have healthy jobs, productive jobs in renewables or in another facet of the economy. And it also doesn't leave behind people in these sacrifice zones, that when they transition to clean energy, that the people in your refineries don't have polluted water. It addresses all these socio-economic and these racial issues within this transition, because if it's the process isn't just, the final product will not be just.
Oh.
So, Monica Atkins, she was on this panel, and she lives in Jackson, Mississippi, and she works with Operation Jackson.
All right.
So she brought tangible examples of just transition. And right now they're building an eco-village that has, green technology to power it, affordable, stable rent there, zero waste management system. They're building like an electric fleet for the police. They're working on all these issues today, not 10, 20 years from now. And that's coming from the grassroots. And she also added that it's really helpful that their mayor is also progressive. And, the grassroots in combination with a progressive leader that wants to take us in the right direction, we can make this happen even if the people at the top are going the opposite direction. It's really how we're living. And yeah, it's just transition.
So we had, as you guys can tell, this is a lot of information, because it was like jumping right into everything. And I was able to sort of take a step back and represent all of us at a WeCan panel with young, amazing women, Indigenous women. There was Nina from Ecuador. There was a woman, I'm really bad at names, but she was from Kenya, and then Miza was the other one. All of the women that were on that panel was really talking about the good things that they're doing in their community and how they're reaching out to, just shine light on the issues and talk more about the transitions that are happening. And that was able to, for me, I was the last one. I was able to bring up the healing walks. And instead of talking about, the bad things that's happening, I thought, well, let's uplift and shine all the great work that we have been doing for the past 4 years with these walks. And it was absolutely beautiful to be able to start, from beginning to end and refresh my memory with how long we've all come together in this space to really organize a beautiful healing walk and shine light on sacrifice zones and refineries and how we can come together to create that just transition and more sustainability for the future generations to come. And I was able to meet some really amazing people at that panel afterwards. I didn't get to stay the whole time because I had to rush over to prepare myself for the 3 actions. And 2 people that stuck out was a woman from Arizona. She works on these really awesome map designs. I think it's very similar to what Chihiro's doing, but they're showing impacted communities. And so I sent her some information about the healing walks, and they were really interested about the Bay Area and would like to add that onto their map. And so that's something that I'll be able to bring to the table for us. And another one was a man, I think he was He lives in Europe. He gifted me a bandana that his son had made for his middle school project. And the bandana was to uplift Indigenous impacted communities that are dealing with deforestation and carbon pricing, carbon offsets. And he said, whenever you go back home, please take a picture with a sequoia or a red tree, so I can share it to my son. So that was beautiful. I got to take a picture in Washington. But fast forwarding to the really awesome action that we stayed up until like 2, 3 in the morning and then got up at 7. The first action was very subtle. It was quiet because it was supposed to be more of a prayer. And so we had the Indigenous women and people in the front, and then everyone else would follow behind us. And lo and behold, we found these Ojibwe women, and they joined us, and I said, do you guys have a song? And they're like, yes. And we're like, sing it. They're like, okay. And so they sang it, and then they stopped. I was like, keep going, keep going. So I would really like to learn that song again, because it was really beautiful, and see how we can connect with them and, get permission to sing it as well. And in that moment, we only had 30 minutes to really say everything, around hundreds of people, thousands of people really inside of this building. And Amy Goodman actually showed up, and a lot of journalists showed up. He got interviewed by someone in Brazil as to, why we were doing this. And our whole intention was to talk about impacted communities from coal, from refineries, and what's the other one?
There's nuclear.
Yeah, and nuclear.
Liquid natural gas.
And
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we just told everyone about all what's happening, and then we just surrounded it with prayers and with understanding, with love and respect. And then we went on to action 2, which was Sustain Us. Sustain Us had the youth delegation. There's about 40 of them that were able to go inside. When we had went to the big area, it was Bond.
It's in the Bond zone.
Yeah, it was in the Bond zone. There was a huge line. Hundreds of people were standing outside waiting to go inside the White House panel, because they were actually promoting clean coal, clean fracking, and clean nuclear.
Right.
And they had David Banks, White House advisor, a representative from Peabody Coal, and another one from a nuclear company. And I think within a couple of minutes, or maybe even less, Sustain Us decided to sing this really awesome song, which would pop in my head every once in a while. And then they said, and we rise up, and everyone rose up out of their seats. And that encouraged other people around them to do the same exact thing. And everyone was recording them. And during this time, we're just sort of outside while that's all happening. And I heard that Layla Salazar from Amazon Watch decided to do a sit-in right outside the door because they weren't able to go inside. And so they start chanting at the same time. And so there was just so much happening, so much energy within this one space. While I was getting dinner, and then Daniel was like, come now. So I was like, okay. And so I was running over there with my bowl of food, and it was perfect timing because Sustain Us had walked outside while singing. Everyone had their banners pulled out. We had created signs with a single person holding a letter that says, keep it in the ground. And Tom Gotooth automatically jumped into immediate press conference where we had a lineup of different people, like myself. We had, who else did we have on there? Jesus from Puerto Rico.
Siriaku.
we had Nina's aunt, Nina Linga, Patricia.
Yeah.
We had Patricia, and Sustain Us had some moments to speak as well. And we were just letting these people know that what they're not representing us, and that what they're promoting is false solutions, and that we have the, we have the truth. We're telling them, that what they're promoting is causing disasters in our communities, causing disasters to our climate, and that, these are the people who you really should listen to. And that was action 3. So, yeah, that was...
Now it's noon.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I think it was, no.
2 a.m.
Yeah, that was like all in one day, and that was like the biggest thing that we were planning, because of the process of organizing with another delegation and making sure that everything was, all the topics were on top of each other. Then we decided to have a press conference or a panel the next day, with myself, with Leona, who lives in a nuclear community, Daniel, Chief Ninawa, and then Monica to end us off with a just transition. So just being part of this huge delegation was really life-changing, to be able to see that there are people out there all over the place who are just like us, and they're doing great things just like us, and they're like family now, just that small time that we're able to spend together, just strictly organizing and figuring out what we should all do. It's like we all were able to weave in our own passions and complete each other's everything. It was just like, it was meant to be for all of us to be on this delegation. And it's so crazy how that all happened. And so that's why I'm also really glad that Daniel was able to come, because he was able to uplift his self, his voice, and also make a huge connection out in Brazil and with Chief Ninawa. And we just love Chief Ninawa, honestly. He's the best person.